It was a chilly December morning in 2009 when a desperate 911 call shattered the silence of an upscale Hollywood Hills mansion. On the floor of her bathroom lay Brittany Murphy, barely conscious, struggling to breathe. Paramedics rushed in, sirens cutting through the Los Angeles air. But within hours, the young actress, once a rising star in Hollywood, was pronounced dead at just 32. The official cause? Pneumonia, anemia, and a lethal mix of prescription drugs. A tragic accident. At least, that's what the reports claimed. But then, just 5 months later, a chilling twist. Brittany's husband, Simon Monjack, was found dead in the very same house, under eerily similar circumstances. 2 deaths, 1 house, the same cause. Was it just a coincidence, or was there more to the story? A rising star fades too soon. A husband follows in death. A home that held dark secrets. This is Derrick Investigates, and I'm Derrick. Tonight we unravel the chilling mystery of Brittany Murphy, a rising star whose sudden death shocked the world. The official reports pointed to pneumonia, severe anemia, and complications from prescription drugs. A tragic, yet medically explainable fate. But then, the unthinkable happened. Just months later, Brittany's husband, Simon Monjack, was found dead, under eerily similar circumstances, in the same house. Suddenly, this wasn't just a heartbreaking loss. It was a disturbing mystery. Were their deaths a tragic coincidence, or was there more beneath the surface? Join me as we uncover the unsettling details, question the official narrative, and explore the theories surrounding this tragic case. If you're drawn to mysteries as much as I am, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Your support helps us uncover the truth behind cases that refuse to be forgotten. Now, let's step back to 2009, to the final days of Brittany Murphy, and the dark secrets that still linger. Brittany Murphy was more than just an actress. She was a force of nature. With her infectious smile, boundless energy, and undeniable talent, she was a Hollywood starlet who seemed destined for greatness. Born in Atlanta, Georgia on November 10, 1977, Brittany spent most of her childhood in Edison, New Jersey, raised by her single mother, Sharon Murphy. Even as a child, she had a spark, an unshakable belief in herself. She knew she wanted to perform. At just 13, she and her mother packed their bags and moved to Los Angeles so she could pursue acting full-time. Success followed quickly. By the mid-90s, she had become a familiar face, with early TV roles in shows like Blossom and Boy Meets World. But it was 1995 that changed everything. Her role as the lovable, wide-eyed Ty in Clueless made her an instant star. The film was a massive hit, and Brittany's performance stood out. She was charming, funny, and effortlessly real, a quality that set her apart in an industry obsessed with perfection. More roles followed. Girl Interrupted, 8 Mile, Sin City. With each performance, she proved her versatility, moving seamlessly between comedy, drama, and thriller. Despite her fame, Brittany remained down to earth. Friends and colleagues described her as warm, quirky, and deeply kind. She had an undeniable work ethic, often arriving on set early, eager to perfect her craft. But behind the glowing career and bright personality, something was shifting in her personal life. By 2007, she had married British screenwriter Simon Monjack. The relationship raised eyebrows. Monjack, an older, lesser-known filmmaker, had a complicated past, lawsuits, financial troubles, and a reputation for secrecy. Yet, Brittany spoke of him with affection, standing by his side through thick and thin. They lived together in a sprawling home in the Hollywood Hills, a house that once belonged to Britney Spears. It should have been a dream come true. Instead, it would become the setting for a tragedy that still baffles investigators to this day. The morning of December 20th, 2009, started like any other, until it didn't. At 8 a.m., the Los Angeles Fire Department received a 911 call from Brittany's home. Her mother, Sharon, was frantic. Brittany had collapsed in the bathroom, struggling to breathe. Paramedics arrived to find her unconscious, barely clinging to life. She was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where doctors worked tirelessly to revive her. But by 10:04 a.m., she was gone. She was just 32 years old. The official cause of death? Pneumonia, anemia, and complications from prescription medication. The coroner's report suggested that she had been sick for days, possibly weeks. The combination of untreated pneumonia, severe anemia, and multiple medications had weakened her body beyond repair. Her death shocked Hollywood. To the world, she had been a bright, lively presence. How could she be gone so suddenly? Yet, despite the tragedy, authorities found nothing overtly suspicious. No signs of foul play, no overdose. Just a heartbreaking case of an illness taking a young life too soon. But then, the unthinkable happened. On May 23, 2010, just 5 months later, Brittany's husband, Simon Monjack, was found dead in the same house, in almost identical circumstances. The cause of death? Pneumonia and anemia, the exact same conditions that had taken Brittany. Two seemingly healthy adults passing away in the same home just months apart, under similar circumstances. A tragic coincidence? Possibly. But such occurrences naturally raise questions, as unexplained deaths often leave investigators searching for patterns rather than chance. And as more details emerged, those questions only grew. The more details emerged, the stranger the case became. For starters, Brittany had been sick for weeks before her death. In her final days, she was noticeably frail, struggling with shortness of breath and dizziness. She had confided in friends that she felt unwell, but refused to seek medical attention. Why? Then there was the house itself. After both Brittany and Simon passed away, environmental testing revealed something unsettling: elevated levels of toxic mold. The toxic mold theory suggested that both Brittany and Simon were slowly poisoned by their own home. But experts questioned, if mold was to blame, why did Sharon Murphy, who also lived in the house, remain unaffected? Yet, experts remained divided. Toxic mold can cause respiratory issues, but could it really explain 2 deaths? And if the mold was that deadly, why didn't Sharon, who also lived in the house, suffer the same fate? Brittany Murphy's health had been declining for weeks, yet she never sought medical attention. This isn't uncommon in Hollywood, where pressure to keep working can push actors to ignore their own well-being. But was Brittany just another overworked starlet, or was something, or someone, keeping her from getting help? Then there were the medications. Both Brittany and Simon had multiple prescription drugs in their systems, some legally prescribed, others not. The coroner's report found everything from antidepressants to painkillers, though none in lethal doses. Could a combination of these drugs have made their conditions worse? Simon himself had been a mystery. In the months after Brittany's death, his behavior raised eyebrows. He became increasingly reclusive, speaking to the media in erratic interviews. He dismissed conspiracy theories while simultaneously adding fuel to them. At one point, he claimed Brittany had been poisoned, only to later change his stance. His health too seemed questionable. Despite being a large man, reports surfaced that he suffered from seizures and heart issues. But could his death have been purely natural, or was there more to the story? Then there was Sharon Murphy, Brittany's mother, the only person who had lived with both of them at the time of their deaths. Some observers found her actions puzzling, questioning certain decisions she made, while others saw them as the response of a grieving mother coping with an unimaginable loss. In interviews, she shifted between sorrow and defensiveness, dismissing the mold theory, denying any wrongdoing, and even posing for photos in Brittany's old bedroom, an act that many found unsettling. Years later, she sold Brittany's home, demolishing any trace of what had happened inside its walls. But some believed the biggest clues had been left behind. As news of Brittany Murphy's death spread, so did the theories. People struggled to accept that a young, seemingly healthy actress could pass away so suddenly, and when her husband, Simon Monjack, died in nearly identical circumstances just 5 months later, the speculation only grew. One widely discussed theory was toxic mold, an unseen danger lurking in their home, slowly weakening their immune systems over time. Though this idea gained traction, health officials ultimately found no evidence linking mold exposure to their deaths. Others pointed to the medications in Brittany's system, wondering if their effects, combined with her already fragile health, had played a greater role than initially believed. And then, there was the most controversial claim: poisoning. In 2013, Brittany's father, Angelo Bertolotti, pursued independent toxicology tests that found elevated levels of heavy metals, levels sometimes associated with poisoning. He was convinced his daughter had been murdered, but forensic experts countered that these findings could have come from environmental sources, such as hair dye or diet. Without official backing, the case remained closed. Despite the theories, the facts remained unchanged. The coroner's report listed Brittany's cause of death as pneumonia, anemia, and complications from prescription medications. The same conclusion was reached for Simon Monjack. No evidence of foul play was ever found. Still, 2 deaths just months apart, under nearly identical conditions. It's no surprise that many continue to question what really happened in that house. This case raises many unanswered questions. What really happened in that house? Was it just illness? Or was there more to the story? And perhaps the most chilling question of all, if this was just a tragic coincidence, why does it still feel like a mystery? One thing is certain: whatever happened in that house did not die with Brittany Murphy. At first glance, Brittany Murphy's death seemed tragic but explainable. A young actress taken too soon by a severe illness and underlying health complications. But as investigators looked deeper, strange inconsistencies began to emerge. Her official cause of death, respiratory distress, severe anemia, and the effects of multiple medications, didn't sit well with some experts. Then, just 5 months later, her husband, Simon Monjack, died under eerily similar circumstances in the very same house. That's when everything changed. What should have been an open and shut case suddenly spiraled into speculation, controversy, and a search for answers that even today remain elusive. From the moment authorities entered the couple's Hollywood Hills home, something felt off. Brittany had been sick for weeks before she passed, complaining of shortness of breath, dizziness, and extreme fatigue. According to her mother, Sharon Murphy, Brittany had been battling a severe flu. But if it was just a bad case of pneumonia, why didn't she seek medical help sooner? And why did Simon, her closest confidant, not insist on taking her to a hospital? The toxicology report found a cocktail of prescription medications in her system: antidepressants, painkillers, and cold medicine. Not an overdose, but enough to raise eyebrows. Where did all these drugs come from? And why was she taking so many at once? Then came Simon Monjack's death. When paramedics arrived at the house in May 2010, the scene was almost identical. Same cause of death, pneumonia and anemia. Same location, the master bedroom. What were the chances of 2 people dying in the same house from the same conditions, just months apart? This was no longer just a tragedy. It was a mystery. Theories flooded in. Was it the house, the medication, or was there more to the story? The investigation took a turn when detectives started looking at the house itself. Brittany and Simon's home wasn't just any Hollywood mansion. It had a strange history. Before them, pop star Britney Spears had lived there. But she didn't stay long. She claimed the house had a bad energy, and something about it made her uneasy. It was enough to make her leave, and she never came back. Then came the whispers of toxic mold. Experts questioned whether prolonged exposure to mold in the house could have weakened their immune systems, making them more vulnerable to infection. It seemed like a possible explanation, but the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office dismissed the theory. They found no conclusive evidence to support it. Brittany's mother, Sharon, initially rejected the idea as well, only to later change her stance, suggesting that toxic mold may have played a role in their deaths. But why the sudden shift? What had changed? If it wasn't the house, what about the medications? Investigators discovered that the couple had an alarming number of prescription drugs in their home. Many were written under different names, some belonging to Simon, some to Brittany, and oddly, some to Sharon. Where did all these medications come from? And who was really controlling them? Brittany's toxicology report revealed no illegal substances, but the mix of prescription medications in her system was concerning. Simon, known for his heart problems, had long relied on painkillers and sedatives. Could an accidental combination of these drugs have made them more vulnerable? Or was something more deliberate happening behind closed doors? There was one person who had been present in the house for both deaths: Sharon Murphy. After Brittany passed away, Sharon and Simon continued living together in the home, a decision that raised eyebrows. Some saw it as an act of shared grief. Others wondered if there was more to the story. Then, after Simon's death, something unusual happened. Sharon became the sole heir to Brittany's estate. The entire inheritance, all of Brittany's belongings, every financial asset, it all went to her. For years, Sharon dismissed any talk of foul play. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, she made a chilling statement. She now believed someone may have poisoned Brittany and Simon. If that were true, why did it take her so long to say it? And if there really was someone behind it, who could it have been? Brittany was raised by her single mother, Sharon, and had little contact with her father, Angelo Bertolotti. Yet years after her death, he stepped forward with his own suspicions. Unconvinced by the official autopsy, he ordered independent testing of Brittany's hair samples in 2013. The results were shocking. High levels of heavy metals were found, consistent with poisoning. This raised chilling questions. Had Brittany and Simon been deliberately poisoned? And if so, by whom? But just as the investigation seemed to take a new direction, it hit a dead end. The Los Angeles coroner's office refused to reopen the case, stating that the hair samples could have been contaminated. And so, the case remains open to speculation. Brittany Murphy, once a bright star in Hollywood, was gone, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. The house where Brittany and Simon died has since been demolished, erased from existence. Any evidence, if there ever was any, is now lost. But the questions remain. Was this simply a tragic case of illness, a dangerous mix of medications, or did someone want them silenced? Brittany Murphy, once a bright star in Hollywood, was gone. Simon Monjack followed soon after, and the one person who might have held the answers stayed silent. What do you think? Could this have been prevented, or is the truth hidden forever? Let me know your theories in the comments. For years, the case of Brittany Murphy's death remained wrapped in uncertainty, a tragedy dismissed as natural causes, but one that never truly made sense. Then, in 2013, a game-changing piece of evidence emerged. Brittany's father, Angelo Bertolotti, refused to accept the official reports. He firmly believed his daughter had been poisoned, and he was determined to prove it. Taking matters into his own hands, he ordered independent toxicology tests on samples of Brittany's hair, and the results sent shockwaves through the case. Elevated levels of heavy metals were found: arsenic, barium, and other substances commonly associated with poisoning. According to forensic experts, the presence of these toxins wasn't just random. It was consistent with someone being slowly poisoned over time. If this was true, it changed everything. But here's where the mystery deepens. The Los Angeles County Coroner's Office refused to reconsider their ruling. They stood by their original findings, dismissing the independent test results as unreliable, claiming the samples may have been contaminated after Brittany's death. So, what really happened? Was this the breakthrough Angelo had been waiting for, or was it another frustrating dead end? Despite public pressure and Angelo's relentless fight for justice, law enforcement never reopened the case. Authorities pointed to the lack of definitive proof of foul play and the presence of prescription drugs in Brittany's system, maintaining their stance that her death was a tragic combination of illness and medication. Simon Monjack's death, following the same pattern, only deepened suspicions, but officials continued to attribute it to poor health, not foul play. Even when forensic experts raised concerns about how unusual it was for two people in the same household to die under nearly identical circumstances, the case remained untouched. And then, something even stranger happened. Brittany's mother, Sharon Murphy, who had initially denied any foul play, later shifted her stance and suggested that toxic mold in the house may have been responsible. But when questioned, she never pushed for an official reinvestigation. Why? Could it be that she knew something she wasn't saying? or was she just as much in the dark as everyone else? If the authorities wouldn't take the case further, was this the end, or was there another piece of the puzzle still waiting to be found? More than a decade later, the mystery of Brittany Murphy's death remains one of Hollywood's most chilling unsolved cases. Her father, Angelo Bertolotti, spent years fighting for answers, but he passed away in 2019 without ever seeing the case reopened. Meanwhile, Brittany's Hollywood Hills home, the place where two lives were lost under the same roof, was demolished. If there had ever been physical evidence to uncover, it was now gone forever. Yet, Brittany's story continues to haunt those who followed the case. Was she truly a victim of illness and medication? Or, as her father believed, was there something far more sinister at play? And if foul play was involved, who was responsible? The truth may never be known. When examining cases like this, ones that hover between natural death and something more insidious, we have to consider both legal and psychological complexities. The law demands concrete evidence, yet real-life mysteries rarely come with clear answers. Medical conditions can be misdiagnosed, toxicology reports can raise more questions than they answer, and circumstances that seem suspicious may have explanations that are frustratingly mundane. The challenge in cases like Brittany's isn't just proving whether something criminal happened, it's proving it beyond doubt. Then there's the psychology of uncertainty. Grief, trauma, and conflicting narratives can cloud the truth, even for those closest to the victim. Those who suspect foul play may wrestle with doubt, while others may choose silence out of fear, self-preservation, or even guilt. And when the passage of time erodes evidence, what remains is a puzzle missing too many pieces to complete. Ultimately, Brittany Murphy's case is a stark reminder that not all mysteries are solved, and not all justice is found in a courtroom. Sometimes, the truth lingers in the spaces between what we know, what we suspect, and what will forever remain unanswered. What do you think? Could her death have been prevented? Was there something more to it that the authorities missed? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching and being part of our community here at Derrick Investigates. Your support allows us to continue exploring the most perplexing cases, giving voice to the unanswered questions that still linger. Whether Brittany Murphy's death was a tragic case of misdiagnosed illness, the result of toxic environmental factors, or something far more sinister, it remains one of Hollywood's most haunting mysteries. Despite investigations and expert opinions, the lingering uncertainties continue to fuel speculation. And perhaps that's the nature of Hollywood itself, a place where truth and illusion often blur, leaving behind stories that may never be fully told. In the end, the truth remains elusive, a puzzle with missing pieces, leaving us to ask, what really happened? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. At Derrick Investigates, our mission is to shine a light on the unexplained, to honor those lost, and to seek the answers that may still be out there. If this case intrigued you, show your support by liking this video, sharing your thoughts, and subscribing with the bell icon turned on. Together, we can keep these voices alive and shine a light on the forgotten. Until next time, stay curious, keep questioning, and never stop searching for the truth. I'm Derrick, and I'll be back soon with another investigation.